Welcome, everybody. And for those of you who are new to a webinar, you know that you can type your questions during the talk. And I have a couple of our registered holistic nutritionists on the line. You may see them answer questions as well. So Elisa is on the line, and she's a registered holistic nutritionist. As well, we will have Sarah on the line, who's a registered holistic nutritionist, and even Rihanna. So you will see them answer questions while I'm talking. So definitely, ask your questions. This is your opportunity. At the end, I will leave time to answer questions as well. And so we'll just wait a few minutes until we've got more people on the line. We have a very big crowd tonight on this webinar. For those of you who are just signing in now, my name is Lorna Vanderhaeghe. This is my home office that I'm talking to you from in Vancouver. And I love the technology because we can share with each other no matter where we are in the world. So that's quite exciting. We had over 1,100 people sign up for this webinar tonight. So quite exciting. Lots of people with hormone problems, lots of people looking for solutions to their health issues. Tonight's talk is going to be a lot of fun because it's all about looking fabulous and feeling great and living a long time. I could have called it an anti-aging talk, but what we really want to do is to live as long as we can, feeling as great as we can. Oh, my image is frozen. Well, I'll move. Does that help? It might be your internet connection is a bit slow. Welcome, everybody. We have people from all over the place on tonight's webinar. Yes, from Victoria, from Vernon. We have people from London, England on the call today. We have people from the US. We have people in Gibsons. And once you've listened to this webinar, we'll also send out the link so people can listen to it again and also share it with their friends. And while we're waiting for everybody to sign on, I also wanted to mention, go to Lorna Vanderhaeghe Health Solutions, not Lorna Vanderhaeghe, that's my personal page, but go to Lorna Vanderhaeghe Health Solutions on Facebook and like us so you can see all of the cool things that we do, and you can also take part in some of the contests and promotions that we have as well. Yes, you should only be seeing one slide right now and my face, because I'm just waiting a few minutes until more people have signed on, and then I'll start doing the talk. Once I start talking, you will see the slide change. So this is the next slide that we're going to talk about. Fantastic. We have registered nurses on the line. We have naturopaths as well on this webinar. We've got people from Ontario and people from Alberta, which is very, very exciting. Hi from Winnipeg and Sudbury. Wow, the people in Ontario are going to be up late tonight listening to this webinar. Saskatchewan too. I was born in Saskatchewan, so Spiritwood to be exact. And I grew up in Victoria. So we're going to start, and my name is Lorna Vanderhaeghe. I'm a women's natural health expert. I've been researching and writing on nutritional medicine now for about 35 years. I've authored 13 books. My latest book is called Beautiful Skin Begins Within, which is free in many of the health food stores right now when you purchase some of our skin products. I also have a book on weight loss called A Smart Woman's Guide to Weight Loss, which is really a very successful manual to meet and achieve your weight loss goals. And that's also free in the health food stores as well. So make sure when you buy products, you ask about our free books. We've got a great website, and you can go to our YouTube channel. So just type in Lorna in YouTube and see lots of our talks over and over again. Tonight's talk is sponsored by Nature's Fair. And if you type in Lorna Hormones in YouTube, you will get my a complete hormone talk as well. So you can listen to that at home also. So let's get started. Welcome to all the people who've come on. If you have questions, please type your questions into the chat box. We have Rihanna, Elisa, and Sarah on the line, our registered holistic nutritionists, to answer your questions. So if you see them answering, you can trust their answers because they're all been extremely well trained by Lorna Vanderhaeghe. So what causes rapid aging? Elevated blood sugar is a big part of this. And we're going to talk about diabetes type 3, which is the latest type of diabetes, which is about elevated blood sugar in the brain. But elevated blood sugar not only makes us gain all this belly fat, which increases our risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes, but it also ages us, ages our skin faster as well. And so we're going to talk about that. Too many calories. You know, the only true thing that they've researched to find that's going to extend life is limiting calories. They call it calorie restriction. And so we're going to talk about how do we, eat and still feel great, lose weight, and not be hungry all the time. So we're going to talk about that. You can't live a long time if you've got bone loss. That's a real key factor. So we're going to talk about bone loss. We're going to talk about heart disease. We're going to talk about what stress does to us, how all these environmental toxins are contributing to our hormone mess. So these are things like estrogenic compounds. We're going to talk about cancer and how to prevent it and how estrogenic ingredients are contributing to our cancer load. And we're going to talk about nutrition as well. We're supposed to be living to be 100. The average age for women in Canada is 82 years old. So we're a long ways away from that 100 mark. And I don't know about you, but I'd really love to live to be 100 years old and see my grandchildren and great-grandchildren grow up. But I want to be fit and strong and healthy during those years. And, I always loved my mother-in-law, what she said. She lived to be 92. She was driving all her friends around. She still had her license. She said, I'm going to wear high heels until I'm done. Because she said, I watch women when they stop wearing their high heels and they put on the running shoes, all of a sudden they can't navigate things anymore. And she firmly believed that wearing those high heels, and we're only talking about a couple of inches, that kept her balance nice and strong. Who knows? She lived to be 92. She had all her faculties together. And that's really what we want to achieve. So food, and the food story is really simple. You need to eat lots of dark colored vegetables. The fruits that I recommend are berries because berries are low on the glycemic index, which means they don't make us fat and they don't elevate our blood sugar too much. You need to have good, clean sources of protein like fish. But it's those vegetables that are going to keep us living a long time. And you'll notice on this screen, there are no white foods. There's no white rice, white flour, white pasta, white bread, white sugar. It is those white foods that I call the diabetes foods, and really we should call them the death foods. The best thing about the Wheat Belly book is it got people understanding that the white foods and all these grains that we're consuming are making us overweight and contributing to elevated blood sugar and insulin, which ages us faster. So it's really simple. Your plate should be full of dark colored vegetables, protein, and healthy fats. And let's talk about fat because there's so much confusion about fat. They've told us for decades now that high-fat diets are bad and that low-fat diets are good, but nobody is talking about good fat. And you've got to eat the good fats. So what are they? Extra virgin olive oil. I love Omega Nutrition's virgin coconut oil, and I like their virgin product the best. It's absolutely yummy. That little blue flower in the middle of the screen is for the borage flower, and the borage flower gives us these tiny seeds. Borage is grown in Canada and Northern Europe, and we take the tiny seeds and we press them, and we get this amazing fatty acid-rich oil that is incredible for our skin, and it's anti-inflammatory. So we're going to talk about that as well. Nuts and seeds, and of course, wild fish. The code name for farmed salmon is Atlantic salmon. So when you see those big salmon in Costco with the Atlantic salmon name on them, don't buy them. They have the worst fatty acid profile. They feed them all kinds of terrible things. They're very estrogenic, and you want to stay as far away from farmed fish as you possibly can. All the tilapia in the world is pretty much farmed now, so stay away from that as well. That's another very, very bad fish. So the good fats, you want to buy the 3.5% yogurt. You want to buy extra virgin olive oil. If the word light is on the bottle, that means they've processed the oil. So stay far away from that. And a little bit of butter is actually good for you. And in all of my books, I have the better butter recipe. Fat in our mouth actually makes us feel satisfied. So as soon as people go on these no-fat, low-fat diets, they start craving sugar because they need something to give their brain this satisfaction. Let's talk about diabetes type 3 and Alzheimer's. And I got very focused on this because a couple of years ago, my mom was diagnosed with dementia and has since been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So I started to do a lot of research about brain health, because one of the things I noticed when she went into a nursing home is that it was 90% women, maybe even 99% women in the nursing homes. And they were there for two reasons. One was dementia, and two was osteoporosis or falls. And so I wanted to get very versed on the subject of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And what I discovered was quite interesting. Brown University in 2005 discovered a new type of diabetes called diabetes type 3, which is basically brain diabetes. And they learned that insulin is actually produced in the brain, not just in the pancreas, but in the brain as well. And diabetes type 3 occurs when the brain does not secrete enough insulin or develops insulin resistance. Now, what does that mean, insulin resistance? Well, when you eat food, sugar goes in your bloodstream. Insulin is actually secreted to push the sugar into your cells where it's burned up like a furnace. Now, when people develop insulin resistance, what happens is, and you can develop insulin resistance being just simply 10 pounds overweight. So what happens is you eat food, sugar goes in your bloodstream, but insulin can't do its job. So it's trying to push that sugar into the cell where it's burned up like a furnace, but it doesn't work. And so the blood sugar goes up and up and up, and insulin goes up, and eventually your pancreas burns out and you develop type 2 diabetes. So insulin resistance is a very bad thing. It takes years to develop diabetes, and through the insulin resistance process, we gain all this belly fat, we can't lose weight, and we're affecting our brain and how clear-minded we're going to be when we're older. So those with type 2 diabetes have a 65% greater chance of developing Alzheimer's disease than people who don't have type 2 diabetes. Isn't that shocking? So if you are on this webinar or you have family members with type 2 diabetes, tell them that statistic, because none of us want to end up in a nursing home with Alzheimer's disease. It's absolutely the saddest thing ever. There's a really important test that I'm going to teach you about tonight. It's called a hemoglobin A1C, and it's all about how long you're going to live. So this little blood test that you can have done at the doctor's office is going to tell you so much about aging. So let's keep talking about diabetes, because this is an amazing body. It's going to tell you when you're starting to head down the trail towards diabetes. Extra belly fat, 15, 20 pounds of excess weight. But more importantly, we know that 4 skin tags or more, and you're a pre-diabetic. And we have all the research on our website so that you can go and read it if you don't believe it. You can print it off and take it to your doctor, because skin tags, these little white fleshy tags that, people get them on their neck, women get them under their breasts, around the edge of their armpit. People with type 2 diabetes can have hundreds of them. But if you already have 4 or more skin tags, you are heading down the trail of diabetes. And diabetes cuts 10 to 15 years off your life. So you definitely don't want to develop type 2 diabetes. So what do we do? And I'm always about the fastest, simplest, easiest solutions that are going to work to get people back where they need to be. So the first thing we're going to do to normalize blood sugar and insulin is we're going to eat vegetables. We're going to eat protein at every meal. What is protein? Eggs, chicken breast, a steak. We look at protein powder is also a protein. Fish is a protein. Yogurt with protein powder in it is a protein. So you want to have protein at every meal. You want to have lots and lots of vegetables. You want to have those good, healthy fats. Reduce alcohol intake. That's a really big one, because every glass of wine that you have to think about it like this. 1 glass of wine, 1 piece of cheesecake. 2 glasses of wine, 2 pieces of cheesecake. 3 glasses of wine, and you've now eaten half the cheesecake. And that's what it does to your blood sugar. It causes complete blood sugar disruption. And so if you're already seeing that belly fat and the skin tags, you want to look at alcohol consumption as well. Reduce that, as well as changing your diet. And what really got me excited about weight loss and blood sugar control and busting belly fat was research that was done at the Virginia Medical School. They'd done over 30 clinical studies. They were looking at diabetics, pre-diabetics, people with elevated blood sugar and insulin. And they were using an ingredient called carositol, which is found in our GlucoSmart. And what was really exciting was that when people were writing up the reports at the end of the studies, the women and men were stating that their belly fat was disappearing. Yes, their blood sugar and insulin was normalizing, and that was exciting to the doctors. But I can tell you what's exciting to us, the average person, is getting rid of that belly fat. So this product brings your blood sugar and insulin back into the normal range. It's safe to take with all of the diabetes drugs for those people who are on the line who are already in that category. And it stops belly fat and aids weight loss. It also has 9 clinical studies for a female condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome. And PCOS is a pre-diabetic condition that we see in young women where they end up getting big in the butt and the hips. They often have male facial hair growth. They can have greasy hair. They can have period problems and infertility. So this is a pre-diabetic disease that we are seeing in a lot of teenagers and 20-year-olds. And they did 9 clinical studies. And as a result of those studies, we are the only company to have a Health Canada approved treatment for polycystic ovarian syndrome. If you've got those skin tags, that belly fat, elevated blood sugar and insulin, you definitely want to get on GlucoSmart. And if you want to get rid of that belly fat and weight loss quick, this is one product that can do it for you. So if you're under 165 pounds, take 1 capsule a day. If you're over 165 pounds, you want 2 capsules a day. And about a year ago, I realized that I was starting to get quite chubby. I was well over 150 pounds, which was way too much for me. And so I decided I was going to take GlucoSmart every single day. And so I started taking 2 capsules a day because I really wanted to make this work. And I've now lost 18 pounds over the last year, a little more than a year. And every time I had a glass of wine, I took an additional GlucoSmart. If I went to a movie and had popcorn, I had another GlucoSmart. So combine this GlucoSmart along with another weight loss product called CLA, and you're going to see excellent results. None of us have a lot of patience. We really want to have that weight loss happen fast and effectively so that we can feel good about what we're doing. And we want to get our blood sugar and insulin into the normal range so that it doesn't affect our brain and have any negative effect on us when we get older. This is a great article. It's on the internet. It's called Food for Thought, Eat Your Way to Dementia. Can you imagine? Eat Your Way to Dementia. And it's in New Scientist. So if you type in Eat Your Way to Dementia, New Scientist, Food for Thought, you will get this article and you will be very intrigued by the content of this article talking about how we are literally causing dementia in our brain from the food we're choosing. How scary is that? So let's talk about cancer. So keeping blood sugar normal is very important. Why? Because elevated blood sugar fuels cancer. Cancer loves sugar. So we need to cut this sugar down as much as we possibly can. And, when we look at 1 teaspoon of white sugar will turn off your cancer fighting cells for 4 to 6 hours. So we've really got to cut back on the sugar. We've got to keep our body fat down. You'll notice that if you go to any of the cancer websites, they all tell you to stay in a normal weight range. And the reason why is because our fat cells produce tons and tons of estrogen and inflammatory factors that can fuel cancer growth. So this is the reason why they want to keep you in a healthy weight range. You want to eat organic. Why? Because pesticides are highly estrogenic. They fit right into your estrogen receptors. And yes, men have estrogen receptors too. So we want to eat these organic fruits and vegetables literally to halt all this excess man-made estrogen that's in our environment that's contributing to endometrial cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, uterine cancer, all of these estrogen or hormone-related cancers, even prostate cancer that we see in men. We have a great product called Immunosmart, which contains beta-glucans. Anybody who is watching the curing cancer videos that have been on the internet for the last few months would have heard about the beta-glucan research. It's one of the few things that's been used extensively in cancer studies that work. So Immunosmart contains the beta-glucans along with a little bit of zinc and some vitamin C. And of course, Immunosmart works by balancing your immune system. So here we are entering cold and flu season. Great time to start it so you can prevent those colds and flu. A multivitamin with minerals. Why do we want to take a multivitamin with minerals? Well, none of us are eating 7 to 10 half-cup servings of vegetables a day, which is the minimum amount of vegetables you need just to get adequate selenium, vitamins A, C, E, zinc, and CoQ10. And these are the nutrients that help us ward off aging and prevent cancer. So selenium methionine in areas in Canada and the US that have low soil and water levels of selenium, that's where you have the highest rates of breast and prostate cancer. So where I live here in Vancouver and Victoria area have the lowest levels of soil selenium in Canada, and we have very, very high rates of breast and prostate cancer here. So supplementing the diet with these things is really important. For those people who are really wanting to detoxify the body of all these environmental estrogens, that's where our EstroSmart comes into play because it literally kicks out all those man-made estrogens out of the body. Probiotics, you're going to hear so much about probiotics and the immune system over the next decade. And also probiotics and weight loss. They've learned that when they give overweight rats a certain type of probiotic, those rats become thin. And then they took the thin rats and gave those rats, the overweight rats, fecal matter. And guess what happened? Those skinny rats got fat. So we're going to see information on probiotics and weight loss as well. And we have a superstar probiotic that has 107 clinical studies, many of them for things like cancers, leukemias, and it's called BB536. So if you want to read the research on that, it's really quite outstanding and exciting. Let's just talk a little bit more about weight loss, because now that we've realized that staying in a healthy weight range is going to help us prevent cancers. It also is going to help us prevent heart disease and diabetes. And, you know, if you get diabetes, heart disease, or cancer, you're going to cut your life shorter. And so we want to keep our weight under control. And it's probably the number one question I get on Facebook, at my lectures, via email, in our office is, how do I get rid of this weight? Especially for women. Once we go through menopause, it's just like that excess weight just packs on and is so difficult to get rid of. There are very few products that actually have good clinical research. And in Canada, we have this Health Canada system where we have to submit tons and tons of clinical evidence research to Health Canada, and then they provide us with a claim on what the product can be stated to do. So there's only like 4 or 5 weight loss products that actually have enough clinical evidence that Health Canada will allow us to make a weight loss claim. And one of those weight loss products is CLA. And CLA is a fat that burns fat. There are 12 human studies. one of the studies I love because they took women who were postmenopausal. They told them, don't change your diet, just take CLA. And these women lost 7 pounds in 90 days, which is incredible. No diet change whatsoever. And they lost 7 pounds in 90 days. Just think if they would have changed their diet to vegetables, protein, and healthy fats and took CLA. So we have CLA in two forms. We have it in capsules, and we also have it in our protein powder. And I put it in the protein powder because I couldn't swallow the capsules anymore. And a lot of women have a hard time swallowing capsules. So you'll notice that as things go on, that we'll have more powders and more other delivery systems, so people don't need to swallow capsules. And so we added the CLA to our Protein Smart, which is absolutely delicious, creamy, and yummy. And 2 scoops of our Protein Smart protein powder delivers 5,000 milligrams of CLA. And of course, for people who would rather take it in capsules, we have that as well. But I mean, this is really quite exciting. And the one challenge is getting enough CLA into people and making them take it every single day, because it works as long as you take it. Stress. I just did a radio show this morning in Ontario on stress because, the kids are back to school. We've got our young adults at university. I think probably stress is the biggest killer amongst all of us, particularly women, between the fact that we're raising our kids, trying to work full time, cleaning our house, buying the groceries, managing the bank book, trying to look great, feel great, going to the gym, all these things we do. It's exhausting. And this chronic stress is really quite dangerous. So what happens when you're under stress is the body secretes cortisol from your adrenal glands. So your adrenal glands are 2 little glands. They sit on top of your kidneys, and they are your backup hormone system. So they're going to secrete cortisol in response to stress. But when women go through menopause, those adrenals are going to make our hormones for us after the ovaries shut down. So we better really love our adrenal glands, because they are so, so important to women after they've gone through menopause. And of course, every day they're helping us deal with stress. So chronic, unrelenting stress, which causes this secretion of cortisol, makes our fat cells around our middle resistant to fat loss. What does that mean? It means the door on the fat cell slams shut and won't let the fat out. So the fat cell gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we just learned that fat cells also make estrogen, which also makes us fatter. And so we end up in this vicious cycle with all this belly fat. As well, when we have very high levels of cortisol, our anti-aging hormone DHEA drops. And DHEA is what keeps us young. And it also stops bone loss and stops us from losing our muscle as well. So we want to keep that cortisol down so our DHEA goes up. So it's a very natural thing. One goes up, the other one goes down. So it's important that we de-stress. So deep breathing exercises, saying no, taking care of ourselves. The other thing that stress does is it causes gut problems. So that's when you get the gas, the burping, the bloating, the constipation, the diarrhea. You don't digest your food properly, so then you don't get the nutrients from your food. And all of this causes uncontrollable food cravings as well. So we've really got to take care of our digestive tract. We've got to de-stress our lives. Chew your food until it's mush. That's really important. There is no carburetor in the gut. And deep breathing exercises. So you want to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you can do it when you're driving your car. If you've got a really bad boss, you probably want to find a new job, because stress is a big killer and it's making us fat. So what do we do for the adrenal glands? And I'll just give you some of the symptoms of adrenal exhaustion. So weight gain, insomnia, where you fall asleep fine, but you wake up several hours later wide awake and can't fall back to sleep. That's a really common one. Low energy, difficulty handling stress. All of a sudden, everything bugs you. Little things that shouldn't be a big deal. You've got salt, sugar, and caffeine cravings, inflammation, so your joints hurt, and lots of hormone problems. So these are just some of the symptoms of adrenal exhaustion. That's when your adrenals are just too tired from all the stress you've been under. Oh, and there's another one. You used to be able to have a couple of glasses of wine, but now you get drunk on one. It's called alcohol intolerance. So de-stressing your life is important for those people who just can't say no. We have AdrenaSmart, which is our very potent formula for getting your adrenals supported and nourished so that they can handle all of the stress you're under. And if you have that nighttime waking, you take AdrenaSmart at lunchtime. Why do you take it at lunchtime? To bring your cortisol levels down in the middle of the night so you stop waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning. Look at these two women on this slide, and I absolutely love this slide. This is a woman that decided in her 60s that she was going to extend her life and be fit and strong. So in her 60s, she decided to become a bodybuilder. Now, these two women are the same age. One is 74, the other one is 74. The classic 74-year-old woman, overweight, white-haired, possibly not mobile anymore. This is terrible. And see this woman beside her, she is such an inspiration. Because of the videos I watched of her on the internet, I decided to go to the gym and get fit and strong so that I would not develop osteoporosis and dementia as I aged. I was going to do everything I possibly could to be fit and strong well into my 90s. So 1 in 3 women in Canada develop osteoporosis, 1 in 5 men. Did you know that 20% of the women who have a hip fracture will die as a direct result of their hip fracture? Another 20% will end up in long-term care facilities. It's the leading reason for care home admissions because of the falls and the resulting fractures that people have. So we've got to get fit and strong. And even if that means lifting your weights in your bedroom in the morning before you jump in the shower, walking the stairs, we've got to do it so that we don't end up in those nursing homes. So this is what happens, and it's a very good image to show you. So here's a woman. The first woman does not have osteoporosis. You start to see osteoporosis occur as women get shorter and shorter and the shoulders come up around their ears, and they are losing bone. And so women have been told this whole myth about calcium. You've got to take your calcium supplements. And I am sure there are lots of you on the webinar tonight who've been taking 1,000 milligrams of calcium for a very long time and are still losing bone. Well, there's more to losing bone and repairing bone than calcium. And so what kind of nutrients are we going to take to build strong bone? Well, the first thing is weight-bearing exercise is going to build strong bones better than anything out there. And that means walking, climbing stairs, lifting weights. Get yourself those Velcro weights. You can buy them at Sears. You can buy them at Winners, Home Shopping Channel, on the internet, at fitness stores. And you Velcro them on your wrists and ankles and wear them when you're vacuuming your house, when you go for a walk. And these are simple, easy things that we can do. And you know, if you just can't get out of your house, buy yourself a rebounder. It's a little trampoline. It sits about 4 inches off the floor. Plunk it in front of your TV, and instead of sitting in the chair, strap on your weights and get on your rebounder, because 10 minutes of rebounding is equivalent to 20 minutes of walking. So you really want to find a way that works in your lifestyle to get your bones nice and strong. So the secret to nice, strong bones is 2 things. 1, keeping all those minerals that you eat in your bones, and 2, building collagen. Collagen is the glue in your bones that makes your bones nice and strong. So the first thing we want to do is, when you eat all these minerals, we want to make sure that the calcium stays in your bones and the magnesium stays in your bones. And the way to do that is to take vitamin D3 and another vitamin called vitamin K2 MK7. And vitamin D3 and vitamin K2 MK7 combined keep calcium and other minerals in your bones. So keep your bones nice and strong. And the other great thing is, of course, vitamin D3 helps prevent breast and colon cancer, and vitamin K2, MK7 helps prevent heart disease. So you get these added benefits when you take these supplements every day. Let's talk about collagen loss. So when a baby is born, they're 90% collagen. Their bones are all collagen. That's what they're made up of. And as we age, we lose a little bit of collagen. But when women go through menopause, they lose about 30% of their collagen. Now, we see that collagen loss in our face by these wrinkles by the side of our mouth, and everything starts sagging to the floor. But have you ever wondered why women go through menopause and suddenly get diagnosed with osteoporosis? It's because if you're losing 30% of your collagen, you're losing it in your bones as well. So normal bone has lots of collagen. It's all interlocked. Bone with osteoporosis has very little collagen. So we want to keep this collagen nice and dense in our bones so they're good and strong. And thankfully, there are ways to do that. So there's an ingredient called choline stabilized orthosilicic acid and biotin. And these two ingredients combined keep the collagen nice and dense and can rebuild collagen. They actually get your body making collagen. So Collagen Plus is our product that contains choline stabilized orthosilicic acid and biotin. It's a liquid. You put 10 drops in your juice, your shake, something. My girlfriends put it in their wine, and it gets your body making collagen. It's been clinically researched and shown to increase bone density by 2%. So choline stabilized orthosilicic acid has been clinically researched to enhance bone density by 2% in 1 year. There is no calcium out there that can do that. And while it's doing that to your bones, it's also making your hair thicker and stronger and grow faster. Your fingernails are nice and hard as well. We've seen receding gums, which are one of the earliest warning signs of osteoporosis, stop happening. And so this is one of those supplements that we want to start young, and we want to take it every day until we die to prevent this horrible osteoporosis. Now, most people take Collagen Plus for all the beauty benefits, the hard fingernails, the thicker, faster growing hair, but it has amazing benefits for bones. And I always tell people to take it along with vitamin D3 and vitamin K2, MK7 if you already have osteoporosis. Don't forget about weight-bearing exercise. You've got to walk those stairs, forget the elevator. Skipping. When we were kids at school and we played double dutch with our friends in the school ground, we never should have stopped. Skipping is one of the best exercises for building nice, strong bones. And lift those weights. And you don't even have to go to the gym. Buy yourself a set, put them in your bedroom, do 10 reps even. 10 is better than none. So you want to start small and make it happen for you. Magnesium is more important than calcium. Did everybody hear that one? Because I think calcium is sold 10 times more than magnesium. The most absorbable form of magnesium is called magnesium bisglycinate. It's also called magnesium glycinate. Did you know that you would need 4 times the amount of magnesium citrate, which is the most common cheap form of magnesium sold, to get the same effect as magnesium bisglycinate? And if you took that much magnesium citrate, you would get explosive diarrhea. So you really want to take the right kind of nutrients when you go into the health food store. And our formula MagSmart is on the screen here. So it has magnesium bisglycinate. It also has taurine, which is great for your heart. People with the big bags under their eyes, that's because they're taurine deficient. This product also has malic acid for people who have got fibromyalgia. It's also got some B vitamins and other supportive minerals. It works for restless legs. It stops inflammation. And we're going to have a conversation about inflammation in a few minutes. It also normalizes high blood pressure, helps you sleep at night. We always tell people to take it before they go to bed. My grandsons take it before they go to school in the morning because it's great for ADHD in kids as well. every time you drink a cup of coffee, you lose a bit of magnesium. So if you're a big coffee drinker, you definitely better supplement. All those leg cramps, twitchy eyelids, heart palpitations, those are telling you that you're magnesium deficient. Cardiovascular disease. No anti-aging talk can occur without talking about heart disease, because it's the number one killer. 34% of all deaths in women and 32% of all deaths in men last year were due to cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women die of heart disease. 1 in 30 dies of breast cancer. Yet there is far more education about breast cancer than there ever is about heart disease. And often the first sign of a heart attack is death. That's pretty scary. So heart disease rates triple in women after menopause because of inflammation. And 50% of those people who have a heart attack have normal blood pressure and normal cholesterol levels. So what is causing heart disease? It's inflammation. So this is the new view on heart disease. So inflammation is the immune system's response to injuries and invaders and cancer. So when you slip and fall on the ice and you sprain your ankle gets red, hot, painful, and swollen. That's inflammation that you can see. Unfortunately, we also have inflammation going on inside the body that you can't see, and it's that inflammation in our arteries and our heart that is causing heart disease. And all this bad cholesterol triggers inflammation. So we've got to get our inflammation down, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. And go and get another really simple blood test. It's called C-reactive protein. And these are all covered by Canadian health plans. So this is not something you have to pay for. The blood test is called CRP. And CRP is a protein that's produced by your liver during inflammation. And CRP actually measures how your body is repairing itself. So you can write these numbers down. Those with CRP levels above 3 have a risk of heart attack or stroke that is up to 8 times higher than those with a CRP of 0.5. So a CRP above 3 is very dangerous. Those with a CRP above 3 have triple the risk of developing colon cancer. Now, this is a simple blood test anybody can have done. Those with a high CRP, have 4 times the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So we need to go get tested and then get a copy of that test. And you want it to be around 0.5 to 1. Below 0.5 is the best. And I've met people who've had a CRP in the 20s, and we've been able to get it down to 0.5 in a matter of weeks. So don't despair if your CRP comes back very, very high. But it is telling you that you've got to change your diet and change your lifestyle a little bit if you want to live well into your 90s and be fit and strong and active. Another blood test I want you to have done when you're getting that CRP is a hemoglobin A1C. And this one actually predicts lifespan. And I went to a very interesting talk by Russell Jaffe. He's a PhD. You can also watch his videos on YouTube. And hemoglobin A1C tells you about sugar attached to your hemoglobin, and it is a true predictor of lifespan. So those with a hemoglobin A1C of 5% or lower have a 99% chance of living 10 years, even if they are 80. This is an amazing test, and they've done research after research to show it's true. Those with a hemoglobin A1C over 7%, you have a 20% chance of living 10 years. And hemoglobin A1C changes decades before you die. So it's one of those great tests you can have that'll smack you and say, hey, you better get focused on your health. So how do we lower hemoglobin A1C? We take Glucosmart every day, and we eat 5 cups of vegetables. That is how easy it is. So you've got to get those healthy fats in your diet, eat 5 cups of vegetables, take your Glucosmart, And this will help you lose weight and get back into a healthier range. So imbalance in all of these things creates disease. So if you have high sugar and high inflammation, you've got an increased risk of cancers, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and Alzheimer's. And then what happens is your memory declines, you get confused, you have a shorter lifespan, and rapid aging. And none of us want to have rapid aging. It's bad enough we're aging, but we don't want to have rapid aging. Lowering CRP. So how do we lower that marker for inflammation? So we have a product that I developed called CaliQ Plus. It is an omega-3 with CoQ10 and some other ingredients, and it very effectively decreases inflammation and lowers CRP. It's got there's 30 times more DHA in the heart than any other tissue. So EPA and DHA are found in omega-3s. And CaliQ Plus has a very high level of DHA to protect your heart and also to stop dry eyes. DHA is the greatest thing for halting dry eyes, and CaliQ Plus has a very high level of DHA. Another thing that works very well food-wise to lower inflammation is garlic, ginger, onions, organic eggs, curcumin, which is found in our Extra Smart, cruciferous vegetables, that's broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, and kale. These all reduce inflammation. So eat lots of garlic and onions and ginger. These are the greatest things. I grate ginger into my tea. And another product that lowers CRP quickly is MagSmart. So MagSmart, which we talked about earlier. So CaliQ Plus and MagSmart are really your heart healthy friends. And you will get my 30-day Heart Smart solution book free as while the store has quantities of it when you purchase CaliQ Plus and MagSmart. When you go get your cholesterol checked, they should be doing your total cholesterol, your good cholesterol. How do you know the good cholesterol? It's called the HDL cholesterol. The H stands for happy cholesterol or healthy cholesterol. And then the lousy cholesterol or the bad cholesterol is LDL cholesterol. So lousy stands for LDL and happy stands for HDL. And that's a good way to determine which is which. And so you want your total cholesterol level to be less than 5. That's the best range. But it's really more important about how much good cholesterol you have, because you need cholesterol to make all your hormones. It's just you don't want to have all that bad cholesterol, which leads to heart disease and strokes and other problems, vascular problems in the brain as well. So we know that CaliQ Plus will also help lower the bad cholesterol, which will help increase the good cholesterol as well. Cholesterol drugs. These are the statin drugs, Lipitor, Mevacor, Zocor, and Crestor. In Canada, they are the #1 selling drug. There was a study published in the Procedures of the American Society of Clinical Oncology. Oncology means cancer. They found that the incidence of breast cancer goes up when women use statins to lower cholesterol. So they had 66,843 women in this study. They were over the age of 35. And they found that statin drugs increase estrogen in the body, not the good estrogen, but estradiol. And they found statin drugs deplete your body of coenzyme Q10. And CoQ10 is very breast cancer protective. So here you had this double whammy. The statin drugs caused your estrogen to go up and caused your coenzyme Q10 to drop. And this is what increased your rate of breast cancer in that study. And so I tell women, if you are taking statin medications, please go read my free book, Your 30-Day Heart Smart Solution. It's on our website for free under the book button, and do whatever you can to lower your cholesterol with food and diet and nutritional supplements so you can get off those cholesterol-lowering drugs. So here's a synopsis of the heart nutrients. CaliQ Plus, which is an omega-3 from calamari oil, no fishy burp backs. You get no gastrointestinal effects whatsoever. And CaliQ Plus also contains your daily dose of coenzyme Q10. Anybody who is on statin drugs has to take CoQ10. It's just absolutely essential. MagSmart, which stabilizes your electrical conductive system in the heart, and it lowers high blood pressure. And we have a new product just out called B-Smart, which is a high-potency B complex that has coenzyme forms of the B vitamins, which is for overall heart health. And CaliQ Plus and MagSmart will lower high blood pressure. It will get your healthy cholesterol in the right range and get your lousy cholesterol to go down and help to prevent cardiovascular disease, especially for women, because we've got these skinny little arteries and capillaries, and we have less room for them to get clogged up than the men do. So we've really got to take care of our heart. Let's talk about skin, which is one of my favorite subjects. On October 5th, I am going to air on a Marilyn Dennis show about skin conditions like eczema and rosacea and psoriasis and wrinkles. And so tune in to Marilyn Dennis on October 5th so you can watch the show. Most of the things I do happen because people like you email me, or friends have a problem, or family members have a problem. And my girlfriends all got together and said, hey, Lorna, you've really got to figure out what's going on with our skin. And so I wrote this latest book, Beautiful Skin Begins Within, because of their insistence to find out what's going on with women's skin. Why does women's skin age faster than men's? And what makes the difference between some women who can have beautiful looking skin until they're 80 and women who have faster aging skin? So there's several reasons why our skin ages. And although these two women are absolutely beautiful, most of us would rather have the smooth skin. So collagen decline is the big one. When you start losing collagen, everything sags, and then you lose elastin. And that's when your chin heads to your chest and your breasts start heading to your waist, and underneath your arms are flagging in the wind when you brush your teeth. And loss of elastin occurs because you lost the collagen. Sun damage. I could never figure out why they were always talking about, protecting your skin from the sun, protecting your skin from the sun. Then I looked at the research on how much collagen you lose from sunburns. So we've really got to protect our sun from sunburns in particular. A lack of moisture in the skin also makes your skin more wrinkled and dry. It's not about drinking water. It's about fatty acids. Those beautiful fatty acids for the skin will re-moisturize your skin very quickly. And genetics are on the bottom of the list. Why? Because if your parents have heart disease, if your parents have diabetes, if your parents have Alzheimer's or dementia, and your parents have terrible looking skin, don't eat like them. A lot of what we see in families is that we're eating the same as our parents, and they're eating the same as their parents. And so if you have family members with health issues, don't eat like them. Change your diet dramatically so that you can at least keep those genes at bay, keep them turned off instead of turning them on. So menopause and skin aging. I could never figure out why all of a sudden women hit menopause and their skin starts looking so badly. And so then I learned that in the first 5 years after menopause, women lose 30% of their collagen. And some women will lose 30% of their collagen in the first year. Those are the women whose periods stop and go through this rapid aging process. They get diagnosed very quickly with menopausal arthritis. They've got osteoporosis, and they start to see their skin dramatically change. So it's all about collagen, and we're going to talk about how to rebuild collagen. And then another thing happens at menopause. Women can no longer make GLA, which is a very special fatty acid that we need for a beautiful skin. And it's also a powerful anti-inflammatory. So we're going to talk about that. Age spots. Those are those brown spots we get on the back of our hands. We call them liver spots. They're due to slow skin cell turnover. So when babies are born, their skin cells turn over every week to week and a half. Very fast skin cell turnover. In those of us over 50, it takes 1 to 1.5 months for our skin cells to turn over. So this is why we start to get all these brown spots, is because our skin cells are not turning over quickly. The best thing to get your skin cells turning over quicker is a multivitamin. Vitamins A, C, E, selenium, and zinc. Those are the antioxidants that get your skin cells turning over faster and faster. And so that's a pretty good reason to take a multivitamin every day. So let's look at how to build collagen and how to get GLA. And I love GLA. Those of you who've listened to me talk in the past know that I'm a big fan of GLA. And GLA is the skin fatty acid. And so GLA is found in high concentrations in borage. Borage contains about 24% GLA. Evening primrose oil only contains about 8% GLA. And most of the evening primrose oil is hexane extracted, which is a chemical, so I don't like it. And there isn't enough GLA in it anyways. But borage has a very high concentration of GLA, and the seeds are nice and soft, so we can cold press them. So the oil is very yummy as well. Fish and flaxseed oil do not contain GLA. The only human food to contain GLA is breast milk. Now, after you finish being breastfed, your body's supposed to make GLA from the food you eat. But in people who have eczema and psoriasis, rosacea, dermatitis, they can't make GLA very effectively, and that's the reason why they have the skin condition. Women, when they go through menopause, they can no longer make GLA. And that is why their skin gets dry and dull and flat looking and loses that youthful glow that we had when we were younger. The other things that GLA has been researched for is breast pain and period pain. It's been researched along with the drug tamoxifen for breast cancer treatment. It also is a natural anti-inflammatory, so it stops those sore joints also. I really love it because when I stopped breastfeeding my daughter, my oldest daughter, she developed head to toe eczema. And the doctors only wanted to prescribe cortisone cream, which is a terrible cream. It thins out your skin and increases your risk of immune problems. And so I went to a health food store for the very first time. And in that health food store, they recommended that I put my baby on GLA. Within a matter of weeks, this horrible, awful, itchy, weeping, raw eczema was gone. And I was completely interested in using herbs and nutrients and food as medicine. And that's what got me interested in doing more research and learning about nutritional medicine. So it's all about this little flower that created this GLA that got me talking and writing books for you today because of it. But GLA transforms your skin. And I always tell people to do the GLA challenge. So take 2 tablespoons a day for 10 days and then drop it down to 2 teaspoons a day. We have it in liquid and capsules. I like the liquid because I like to just eat it off the spoon. I also put it in my smoothie. And you can even put it on the skin. So I put it around my eyes and mouth at bedtime, and then I slather on my Celadrin cream before I go to bed. And for those of you who watched my skin talk the other day, I used my skin spin roller as well. You can see that on Facebook. But GLA is just a superstar for beautiful skin. How do we build collagen? So I already talked about the way to get your body making collagen. So Collagen Plus, which contains choline stabilized orthosilicic acid and biotin, gets your body making collagen. Gets it making collagen in your hair, your skin, your nails, and your bones. And it also makes the keratin in your hair, which makes your hair shiny, much higher content as well. So this is a vegetarian formula. So the vegetarians love it. And you can put it in juice or your smoothie, and you take 10 drops a day. And you will see smoother skin. It works for stretch marks as well. We have lots of women who've written us testimonials about their stretch marks improving. But it is really one of those ways to enhance collagen production from the inside out. Then we have active collagen. This is our superstar collagen for wrinkles. And I was looking for a collagen product for myself and my girlfriends, and I went into the health food stores, and I was kind of horrified because the collagen products that were there were from slaughterhouse waste, basically cow hide, cow hooves, pig parts. Some of the companies wouldn't even tell you where their collagen came from. I guess they were embarrassed, and there was no clinical research. So I looked at this product from France, and they had been doing excellent research with a hydrolyzed marine collagen and elastin polypeptide. So it's from fish. And they did these studies where they measured the depth of the crow's feet wrinkles on the women's face. They also measured the moisture content, how much elasticity, that means where your chin is sitting. We do this little test where you grab the skin on the back of your hand and squeeze it, and then you let it go. Well, in children, it'll drop so fast you can't even see it. If you do it on your 80-year-old mother, it goes like this. Yeah. That means we're lacking our elastin and collagen. So anyways, in this study, they gave women 2,000 milligrams of active collagen. They found at day 28 a 20% reduction in deep wrinkles, not only the depth of the wrinkles, but the number of wrinkles. By day 84, the moisture content in the skin also improved, and the elasticity, so the sagging, also improved. And the longer you take it, the better it works. So I've been taking it now for about 4 years. I love it. It's one of those products I hope to never be without. And the backs of my hands are now starting to fill in. I was getting those old lady dips between my bones. And I'm happy to say the collagen is filling in. So this is active collagen. It's a hydrolyzed marine collagen and elastin polypeptide. You only have to take 2,000 milligrams a day. We are the only company that has a Health Canada claim for the reduction of and the number of deep wrinkles by 20%. And we are the only company with elastin. And the product is so super clean. We have a new one coming out that's in a powder with organic raspberry in it, which is just amazing and delicious. So look for that in the next few weeks. This is one of the slides from the study where they showed a reduction in the crow's feet wrinkles. And I tell people, take an up close and personal photograph of your face before you start taking it, because you really, truly will be pleased with the results. Brain power. If we're going to talk about anti-aging, we want to have a sharp mind. We want to be able to remember things. We want to be able to think clearly. And after my experience with my mom and dementia and Alzheimer's disease, and then I realized, it tends to go from mothers and daughters. So I had to really start looking at a prevention program. And there are actually nutrients that have really good studies being done right now for Alzheimer's. They are acetyl L-carnitine, alpha and R-lipoic acid, blueberry extract, and curcumin. So I put this all together in a formula for myself, and it has these great results. And also the research is quite exciting. So for people who've had strokes, even if they had a stroke 5 years ago, they should go on it, because the recovery after stroke research using these nutrients is quite exciting. It improves memory and neural networks in the brain. It's for people who've had strokes or concussions. But just take it in the morning. It gives you lots of energy, and it feels like you get like somebody just cleaned the windshield. That's how it feels when you take it. Vitamin D3, it's the only vitamin that acts like a hormone. We have to take it in Canada because we just don't get enough sunshine to make vitamin D3. We have an activated vitamin D3, so I know it's actually going to raise your vitamin D3 levels. It's to prevent breast and colon cancer. Your thyroid needs vitamin D3 to make thyroid hormone. It's for your brain, your bones. It's also one of the best things for depression and low moods. How much do we take? Well, last year, they finally came clean and said, we've been telling people the wrong dose. So this was an Alberta study, and they came out and they said, we did a math error. You should be taking 8,893 IUs of vitamin D3 a day, not 1,000. And I've been telling people that for a decade. So I was really happy when they finally came out and said, we're not taking enough. And so we have this great vitamin D3 in little droplets. You could just put them on your tongue, put them in your shake. They have no taste. And it's a very high quality vitamin D3. And it's the best price on the market. We have beat everybody else in regards to price. Balance equals health. And you want to eat lots of vegetables. You want to eat good, healthy fats. You want to keep your blood sugar and insulin balanced. That's all about small amounts throughout the day. Get that CRP and hemoglobin A1C tested as well. Our website is hormonehelp.com. go there and sign up for my newsletter so you can find out about these events that we have happening. I'll do a weight loss one coming up soon as well. These are two of my books, The Smart Woman's Guide to Hormones. It's every woman's Bible. Every woman should have this from the time she's young so that she doesn't have to suffer with endometriosis and fibroids and period problems and breast pain. And then my weight loss book, which is free. That book has a 6-week eating plan that if you follow the recommendations in the book, you will be successful with your weight loss.